Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us here today over the next few days, what I think are going to be some very meaningful conversations. And Diane, I'd like to start off by thanking you for that kind introduction. As was said, Diana has many jobs. We get to benefit from her wisdom and her hard work at the City Board, just as all of us get to benefit from those same things at Accione, and as Diana mentioned, a relationship, an important relationship with Citi for over 40 years. As Diana said, over the next few days, we're going to be discussing all kinds of things. I think very importantly, how we can all work together to create new partnerships and frame the way that we advance financial inclusion around the world. And I'm proud of the role that Citi's taking in terms of helping to facilitate these conversations. Today, what I'd like to do is to talk a bit about Citi's perspective on why we believe the time is right to begin to pull together our collective resources, our knowledge, and connectivity to achieve the goal of greater financial inclusion. I think it's important for all of us to recognize, and as Diana said, we at Citi certainly recognize that that goal is achievable. And I know it's not only important for the communities where Citi operates, but there's also a value proposition that aligns Citi's core business strategy with this. I think as we look at the future, and we've got to recognize at least three secular global dominant trends of which we against Citi have tried to align our business: globalization, urbanization, and digitization. Financial inclusion is a goal that's closely aligned with all three of these trends and with our efforts to seize them on behalf of our clients and our stakeholders. I think we all recognize globalization and what's happening in terms of the rapid advances in technology and communication, and what that means in many ways. Our world is becoming less fragmented and much more interconnected. Today, when we talk about growth, we don't mean growth only in the pockets of the developed world, but the economic expansion that is taking place across our geographies. The organization that recognizes this will be best positioned to seize these new opportunities and support new and growing markets. Today, we've also got to recognize that more than 50% of the world's population lives in cities. And by 2050, that number is going to be north of 70%. And with that, it'll create both challenges and opportunities related to how urban populations will interact with each other and their surroundings, the phenomenon of urbanization. As this population shift accelerates, a larger and larger share of global GDP is going to be generated in cities and the incomes of its city dwellers that live there. A central focus of our work has to be to ensure that these new urban residents are able to access services and products that give them a foothold in their local economies and allow them to save and build assets and to improve their quality of life. And when we talk about digital, digital touches every aspect of our lives in business. In business, from front office to back, from consumer to institutional, and it's transforming the way life is lived and business is conducted on every continent, in every sector. For banks, online and mobile technology has the potential to improve security, increase efficiency, lower costs, and enhance connectivity and convenience for both large payers and individual end users. This last point, I believe, is especially relevant to those with low incomes. More than 6 billion people today worldwide have access to a mobile phone. Like never before, there's now the ability to directly deliver information, education, and payment services directly into the hands of most of the world's population. That capability represents an opportunity to rapidly accelerate provisions of safe and convenient financial solutions and information as to how these tools to those currently disconnected from the financial mainstream. But I think we also need to acknowledge the magnitude of the challenge upon which we're all focused this week. I'm nonetheless very proud of Citi's longtime leadership in this area, an area we remain committed to into the future. Thanks to the high-impact investments of our Citi Foundation, we've worked with organizations and thought leaders to conduct on-the-ground testing and fuel innovative thinking about what a more financially inclusive world looks like. Equally important, Citi has decked its business resources against this effort because we know doing so makes sense for our communities and for our clients. Citi Microfinance works with our businesses in more than 40 countries today, and not only microfinance institutions, but many other corporate, government, and some with us here today to provide access of capital, payments, and mobile platforms that support financial inclusion. Earlier this year, we launched a new electronic payment solution that makes it possible for small grocery stores and other businesses in the Dominican Republic to replace cash payments to their suppliers with mobile transactions. In collaboration with a local mobile payment administrator and a local microfinance institution, it's now possible for small businesses that are not yet part of the banking system to open an account and perform more secure and convenient business transactions. Similarly, in Africa and in many other of our markets where agriculture is a critical livelihood, Citi and the Citi Foundation have done research and are working with clients, NGOs, and other stakeholders that source agricultural products to improve access for finance to local farmers. Also last year, Citi and the USAID launched a global effort called Better Than Cash. In partnership with the United Nations, we've worked with NGOs and governments from Peru to the Philippines to reduce corruption, increase financial transparency, and improve the electronic payment system. Our partnership with the USAID also focuses on mobile money and its transformational potential to improve the lives of roughly 2 billion people in the world who have a mobile phone but lack access to financial services, the unbanked. Citi and the USAID developed a set of principles to help governments accelerate their mobile money ecosystems. Citi's technology, combined with the USAID's know-how in financial inclusion, show how public and private partnerships can improve the financial inclusion agenda moving forward. Financial inclusion today means going far beyond where traditional microfinance was. It means working with partners to go the last mile, to reach deep into communities where access and, importantly, education, financial education, is most needed. On the topic of financial education, we need to embrace the responsibility to develop smarter, safer, and more active financial customers. Research commissioned by the Citi Foundation describes the business case for connecting with roughly 700 million people in the developing markets who have access to finance but have not yet received any form of financial education. We need more financial institutions embedding this kind of financial capability training into their business models. Doing so benefits both clients as well as providers, and at the same time, strengthening our financial system. Of course, we've got to recognize that challenges remain. And among them, poor financial infrastructure still exists in many countries. We've got regulatory uncertainty, and we've got uneven costs to both end users as well as the providers attempting to engage. And the ongoing need to enhance financial capability so that clients are equipped with the knowledge and the skills they need to make informed decisions. But the time is right for that kind of effort, and today we're joined by many of the peers who recognize this same thing. Visa, MasterCard, MetLife all recognize, amongst others, those same opportunities. Influential voices, as Diana mentioned, like World Bank President Jim Yong Kim, are explicitly endorsing the goal of full financial inclusion by the year 2020. Our partners in government increasingly view financial inclusion for their citizens as a development imperative. Clearly, one glance around this room underscores the argument that no single organization, industry, or even sector can make this happen on its own. It'll take innovation, investment, policies, regulatory support, and business-based initiatives. It'll take the development of new platforms and technologies that are able to be widely deployed and accessed. And it will certainly take the coordination and a common set of principles around which every single stakeholder can assess needs, set targets, and execute, all in a responsible, sustainable way. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your tireless efforts towards this goal. And on behalf of Citi, I look forward to working with you to transform these conversations into actions in the years ahead. Thank you very much and enjoy your few days here.